Good evening, everybody. In the previous video, we were discussing Article 14, 15, and 16 of the Constitution of India. Article 17 is about untouchability, and Article 18 is about abolition of titles. These two articles do not require any dilation further. Let us go to Article 19. I have certain reservations here. Article 19 says that all citizens shall have the right A. Freedom of speech and expression, B. To assemble peacefully and without arms, C. To form associations or unions or cooperative societies, D. To move freely throughout the territory of India, E. To reside and settle in any part of the territory of India. F was deleted, and clause G says to practice any profession or to carry on any occupation, trade or business. So my objection is only with regard to clauses E and G. Honorable Supreme Court has held time and again that only reasonable restrictions can be imposed on the fundamental rights enunciated in Chapter 3 of the Constitution. They must be so reasonable that a citizen must be able to enjoy his fundamental right to fullest extent. It means that restrictions should be as minimal as possible. My observation in this case is that there are tribal laws which restrict transfer of lands in tribal areas to non-tribals. Especially in Telugu states, in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, there is 1 of 70 Act, whereby transfer of lands to non-tribals, either by tribals or non-tribals, is prohibited. Transfer means sale, gift, lease, etc. Then please tell me how non-tribals will live in tribal areas. In tribal areas, I lived for 16 years. Until I attained the age of 16, I was living in tribal areas only. I found there were carpenters to make bullock carts and plows for the tribals. There were potterers to supply pots to this tribal population. There were blacksmiths who were making sigils, axes, etc. for the tribals. And there were washermen, of course. This way there are several artisans living in tribal areas akin to tribals. They also live like tribals only. They do not lead any better life than the tribals there. If we discriminate such people, if they cannot stay in these tribal villages, is it justified? How these services will be provided to tribal people? So after all, these laws should be made to protect the poor and the weak. But these artisans like washermen, potters, carpenters, etc. too are also poor people. But unfortunately, they are non-tribals and they are discriminated. Especially Article 19(1)G gives us the right to conduct any trade, profession, calling, employment, vocation, etc. anywhere in India. So, if non-tribals cannot have at least a residence in tribal areas, how will they conduct their business, etc. in these tribal areas? And in some cases, it appears to me like a self-deceit. There are even very big towns in tribal areas where several thousands of people reside and most of them are non-tribals. Yet they are living there with insecurity. In my opinion, it is the duty of the government to see that these non-tribals get at least a place to reside, a piece of land sufficient to construct a house and reside there must be allowed. We also know Article 13 of the Constitution, which says that any enactments in contravention with fundamental rights are invalid. So, is this one of 70 Act is in contravention of Article 13 or not? Definitely it is in contravention of Article 13. So, non-tribals must be allowed to enter tribal villages. Due to this tribal land transfer rules coupled with SC/ST Atrocities Act, non-tribals do not enter tribal areas. Neither tribals can enter non-tribal areas. They are not welcome due to SC/ST Atrocities Act. That way, these people are kept secluded from Indian population. This is what has happened in several countries where the invaders oppressed the aboriginals and kept them in forest areas like animals. Should we do the same thing to our native population? If you want to support tribals really, we can provide them all sorts of financial assistance in terms of First Amendment to Article 15 of the Constitution. Anything done for advancement of interest of scheduled castes, scheduled tribes will not militate against equality. Supposing it is necessary to restrict others from acquiring lands in tribal areas, how is it justified? The logic which we advanced while abrogating Article 370 and Article 35A, which restricted acquisition of lands by non-Kashmiris in Kashmir. We advanced the argument that development will take place in those areas, land values will get increased in those areas, and there will be cultural amalgamation. Other people go to those tribal villages or the Kashmir Valley and they can come to other areas. So in my opinion, it is necessary to allow non-tribals to enter tribal villages and to do trade, profession, calling, employment, trade and industry, etc. there, so that employment is generated, social and cultural amalgamation takes place. If that is not possible, at least 2 to 500 square yards of land necessary for construction of a house and residence should be allowed for non-tribals. Say, for example, in Telangana, we have a city called Bhadrachalam, a temple city dedicated to Lord Sri Rama. There the population is around 25,000, of which 90% are non-tribals. Yet, sometimes the government officials threaten them with eviction, issue notices, then get compromised, and they are living in fear, constant fear there. It is not proper. The government has to address these issues, in my opinion. Thank you. Thank you for watching my video. I request you to please subscribe, share, and comment on my videos. I will be glad to reply to your queries. Thank you.